Excuse me, I wonder if you'd mind answering a few questions.
Will it take long? I haven't got much time. I've got a lecture in about 10 minutes.
No, it won't take more than a few minutes, and it will benefit you. You see, the Student Union has put together this questionnaire to find out if there are any problems with the facilities on campus, and hopefully come up with a few ideas with a view to solving them.
Oh, all right then, if it's quick.
Great. Right. First question. Which facilities do you tend to use the most?
Well, I don't use the library as much as I should, and I haven't set foot inside the gym.
Is there any reason for this?
There are plenty of books, but the few times I went to use the library, I couldn't really get the hang of the system, so I don't really bother now. There's a reasonable selection of books in the library downtown.
So, what you're saying is that we need a better database with clear instructions.
I suppose so, and the reason I don't use the gym is I prefer outdoor exercise like football or rugby. One good thing is the outdoor pitches are really well looked after, and there's always someone on hand to help you if you need anything.
Fine. 1 minute. Just taking that down. How about the other facilities that you use?
Well, I think I use the cafeteria the most, and the car park. The cafeteria's okay, I suppose. It's cheap and the food's quite nice. But one thing I find is that it doesn't have a great deal of variety. I've had hamburgers twice this week already.
But it doesn't discourage you from using it.
No, as I said, I use it the most, but that's because it's on campus and the food is reasonable. Anyway, I don't really have enough time to go into town to eat. And even if I did, I couldn't afford to do it every day.
I see. So it's only the menu you're concerned about?
Pretty much, yeah. It's clean and the staff are friendly enough.
You mentioned the car park.
Yes, it's usually all right if you get in early, before 9 o'clock, but if, for instance, you've got a later lesson at, say, around 11 o'clock, then it's pretty much impossible to find a parking space. Take today. I had to park in one of the back streets behind campus. It took me more than 5 minutes to reach the entrance. Sometimes it's more than 10.
That's a difficult one. I'll have to put it to the committee.
Thanks, I'd appreciate it, but I really must be going.
Well, Simon, how are you getting on with your research?
To be honest, there was quite a lot to cover, and I'm not even halfway through my materials. Motivation in the workplace seems to be a well-discussed topic, and there is a lot of divergence of opinions.
Indeed there is, and this can make it difficult to decide which approach you want to take. So that's why you should make sure that you've got a clear idea in your head before you go ahead with your draft. It's too easy to digress and end up discussing a completely different subject.
Well, I've got quite a few ideas together. First of all, I've been looking at the definition of motivation in the workplace, and what makes you tick, so to speak. And I found out that basically you can put it down to internal and external factors such as personal drive and the working environment.
Could you be more specific?
According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are 5 levels of need. He presents this as a pyramid diagram to illustrate his point. The first and most fundamental one is at the bottom of the pyramid and demonstrates people's physiological needs. These are really basic requirements, such as food, water, a healthy body, and so on. In the developed world, these are things we take for granted. But there are those in poorer countries who regard them as a luxury. The next level is to do with safety and security. He states that we need to have a roof over our heads to feel secure and to live in a society with a proper law enforcement system, that sort of thing. Again, something most of us would take for granted. Both of these levels are based on external factors, but this is not always the case. The third one could be seen as being more internal, although not entirely. That's the importance of love and belonging. Maslow believes that humans are social beings and therefore need to bond and interact with others in order to achieve their potential. Without interaction, a person becomes introverted and may even suffer from psychological problems.
So, how did you apply these theories to the essay itself?
Well, if these needs are not satisfied, there is a detrimental effect on the general overall performance in the workplace. The lower the level, the more immediate the effect on the person concerned. I've put together a file of psychological case studies to back up my point, if you want to take a look.
I don't think it will be necessary at this point, but I'd like to go through them with you in next Monday's seminar. So, what did you make of the final levels?
Well, these are more directly associated with the workplace. The next one outlines the importance of both self-respect and the respect we receive from others. So, love and friendship only accounts partially for our sociological and psychological needs. I suppose you could say that mutual respect and status in the workplace is a prerequisite for a motivated and successful worker. And finally, at the top of the pyramid, self-actualization.
And what does that mean to you?
Well, I think it's pretty much a universal concept. It means realizing your capabilities and utilizing them in order to fulfill your potential. It motivates people to do things such as studying for a degree, opening a business, winning a medal in sporting events, and that sort of thing. In a word, it's the key to success and self-fulfillment.
So what do you conclude from all this?
Basically, it seems that most people require a reasonably good standard of living in order to reach their potential. For instance, you don't hear of many top bankers or politicians who come from a poor background, do you? Both money and education is added to the equation, which often equals success. So fundamental needs have to be met in order for the employee to succeed. Without these, it is often the case that he or she lacks self-respect and consequently the motivation to get ahead.
Well, you seem to have covered the main points in the first section. Now let's focus on the workplace itself.